Hi guys, in today's video we'll be viewing the newly hatched bull ant workers or Antics, which is truly exciting. I even managed to capture a very special moment that I'll show you towards the end of this video. Trust me, it's really cool to observe. Let's first check on my singular piriformis queen. She had 3 cocoons. Now I see 1 cocoon that's open in her outworld. This indicates that she should have her first worker, or Antic. Let's have a peek. This is a wonderful discovery. Here she is. Looking closely, you can see there is discoloration as the mandibles and legs are yellow. It's not dark red like the queen, but it's normal as the Antic recently hatched. I will mention more about the color with another bull ant species. Just 2 cocoons need to hatch and it'll happen any day now. A week later, the second worker arrived. I find them adorable. I wish I captured one of them hatching out of the cocoon. Then finally, the third shortly after. These 3 workers will help out the queen with feeding and caring for the future brood of their beginning colony. Here we are looking into my Pilisula's outworld. As you can see, I've found empty cocoons. This is quite exciting evidence that the first generation of workers have successfully arrived. Here is one of the workers walking by in the outworld. The last time you saw the queen, she had 5 cocoons and a larvae. Looking into the tube, it's currently feeding time, and now she has the help from her workers. As soon as they hatch out of their cocoons, they pretty much go straight into work. Aren't they cute? They look exactly like the queen, but smaller. So far so good, as she has 2 cocoons that will hatch later on. I noticed these workers can move quite fast. Looking forward to having a larger colony of these girls. Up next is my great massive Brevanoda. She had 2 strong looking cocoons. As you can see, I found an empty cocoon. Another exciting clue that her first worker has arrived. Let's have a look inside the tube. Look how adorable they are. I absolutely love their big eyes. Her larvae look healthy too, and we're waiting for that second cocoon to hatch. As you've noticed, the worker is a different color. Over time, her exoskeleton will harden and form a similar color to the queen. It's like a shield for the ants. The piriformis's discoloration isn't so extreme, as the Brevanoda are naturally a brighter color. Almost a week later, I discovered the second worker, and noticed they're both the same color, just like the queen but slightly lighter. I recently fed them a cricket as their larvae have grown and are hungry for protein. So far, this beginning colony are doing great. Here's close-up footage I captured a month later to show their progress. Peeking through the tube, we see my Golosa queen. She's got her first worker that is a lovely orange color. Right next to her is the cocoon she recently hatched out of. The beautiful queen is calm and isn't so alert right now, which is good. I love how the queen is red, black, and yellow. I also love how the worker is orange for the time being. It would be cool if the worker stayed the same color. This footage about 2 weeks later show that the worker is now the same color as the queen. That means her exoskeleton has hardened. She now looks exactly like her mother, and I find their mandibles stunning. Before I continue on to some special footage captured for my big piriformis colony, I've got some disheartening news. I've unfortunately lost 3 of my beautiful bull ant queens that I can no longer update you guys on. My Piliventris sadly passed in the outworld, leaving behind healthy-looking larvae and 3 workers that successfully hatched. A month later, I found my variants fighting to stay alive. but passed the next day, leaving behind a worker and 2 larvae. And now recently of today in 2025, my full vibes, who also left her colony. It's quite depressing and unfortunate. All unknown causes for their death. For the workers, they'll continue to look after the brood, to carry out their colony, but eventually they'll die out, as there is no longer a queen to lay eggs. Death is sadly part of life, but I have footage we're about to view that's the opposite, which is the new life that's formed inside the large piriformis colony. There has been heaps of empty cocoons laying in the Outworld. The workers have made a dumping pile even. Let's take a look inside. There is heaps of larvae still, and right here are a few new workers. Let's zoom in. You can tell by their mandibles as it's a lighter color. Let's scan across the nest to really have an insight on what's going on. Looking carefully, we've come across a failed pupae. I've spotted a new worker that has recently emerged from a cocoon, it seems. The other workers are helping her take off perhaps the skin of the larval form, or silk. A mix of meconium, as my friend suggests it is. We'll see more of it soon, as more workers have recently hatched. Nearby, I see a worker help open a cocoon. This was cool to observe. She carefully uses her strong mandibles to help tear the cocoon wide enough, so eventually her sister can successfully come out. The new worker cleans herself. She'll now have to adjust to her life in this Waitong nest with all her sisters. She's already learning how to walk with legs and constantly cleans herself to avoid any bacteria. She gets help from others. The newly hatched worker is expected to work straight away to help out the colony. In this case, for example, she will have a specific role, such as looking after the brood, while the older workers have a different role, such as foraging or guarding the nest. This large colony and all ant colonies have their own system so that they successfully thrive. Moving on to the other side of the nest is where the majority of the cocoons are kept. Here is a freshly new emerged worker. How adorable! Close by are eggs. Observing inside the nest, I noticed 2 mandibles poking out of a cocoon. An hour later, I went to go find the same cocoon that had their mandibles sticking out like fangs, and found progress. When a worker is ready to come out, they'll use their mandibles to cut through the silken cocoon. Workers in the nest do help with the process, if needed, as we witnessed before. Isn't this incredible? This will take a while, so I will fast forward. And finally, here is the special moment I've captured for you guys. Welcome to the world. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you got a good insight of the workers and enjoyed my bull ant series. I've enjoyed documenting from eggs to workers. I appreciate your support and look forward to reading your comments. or answering any questions. Let me know what your favorite bull ant species are. I'll see you guys in my next video.